I wonder if we can get some more, some more ideas, some coral and algae here. This is in the shaded area again. You can see the purples. Purples there, and then there's this stuff here, which is more coralline, but it's kind of a almost like a bush or a knob, branch and knob sort of look to it. This is a new addition. This is a green lettuce, but I don't know the species name. And it's still acclimating, so I don't know if it's going to do well or not. But it did come with a series of yellow-green polyps, which you may be able to see right at the bottom here. And actually, that's why I got it. Those are kind of pretty polyps. They kind of glow yellow around the rim. You may recall I said there was a trumpet that was hosting several cuttings. This is the host, which is a bit smaller now than when it started because of the cuttings I've been taking. It is also the one that supplied those orange polyps because I had to cut its main branch back to fit it in, fit it into a groove of a rock. And it's growing, it's dividing, and I'll take more cuttings as time goes by. Up and behind, I don't really know what this is. I suspect a millipora, but it might be a morph of a hydropora, or it might even be a type of montipora. In any event, it has two areas that died. Perhaps I can zoom in on the bigger area. Both areas appear to be, yeah, that's the dead area there in the middle. Both areas tend to be flat and right into direct sunlight or direct lighting of the system. Whereas the knobby parts, like this area in the front here, did pretty well. So I guess I have to assume it doesn't tolerate real bright light, but I don't know that for sure, since I don't even know what species it is. It's a fairly large rock. It's about 7 inches across, left to right. It's a very nice encrusting coral. This is yet another cutting off of that trumpet. You can see it's a recent cutting. There's no coral and algae on Plumber's putty there. So it's a little under a month old. Now above it and to the right is a bird's nest, a more traditional pinkish color. And unfortunately, the side that you're seeing had been attacked by bryopsis on the bottom, so it's kind of, tissue's still alive. I cleaned out all the bryopsis last night. There's still tissue there, but it's going to take a couple of weeks for it to revive. You can see off to the right some very pretty coral and algae growing there. That's a dark pink color. I've been taking cuttings of the bird nest, and I'll show you what those look like. Okay, this is a pair of cuttings from the bird nest. They started out as single branches, and in fact you can see these You can see these on my webpage. You know, when they were the original size. This is one cutting is in the front and one in the back. There's a total of two. And you can see there's quite a bit of growth over the past 6 months or so, perhaps even less. Maybe it's only 5 months old. And it's probably quadrupled in size since I made the cuttings. And then this is yet another cutting here of the bird nest. Now this sits right in the bright light, and it seems to grow not quite as well. The whitish tips is new growth. It's not dead. But it doesn't seem to grow quite as fast as the other two cuttings you just saw that are slightly more shaded, which is surprising. I thought, I would have thought bird nest requires lots of light. Now I have another Pictinia, and this one for sure I know does not grow well where it is. It's sort of like in suspended animation, and I think that's because of the real bright light. So I will probably move it down lower and towards the front where there's a little less white light. See how well it does. Now off to the right of that is a rock. And this is one of Howard Allen's rocks from his tank. And this is a tank that he applied penicillin to cure Popeye in a maroon clown that he has. And we suspect he killed all the Fiji rock in his tank. And so I thought I would just put a couple of his rocks in and try to reseed them. Oh, I see we've got a red-lip blenny sitting here. These are very good animals for picking up hair algae, diatoms. They'll eat cyanobacteria. They eat just about anything, as long as it's veggie. And I've had him quite a while, and he cleans the rocks quite thoroughly. You can catch him. Oops. You can catch him eating, scraping the rocks clean. And he's down there somewhere. Now over to the far right of the tank, I put two frog spawn corals, one in front of the other. They're of the same species, so that their tentacles can intermix without stinging. And they're doing real good. I just keep dividing them and selling them. And it just happens to be a real nice place for them. You can see the wave maker pushing the tentacles around, and then in a moment that will stop, and it'll almost be still. And then after 30 seconds or so, it'll pick up again. And it just seems to be a real nice motion for this animal. It's growing quite rapidly. And there you can see it's settled down quite nicely now. And then now it'll take off again as the wave maker starts in. These animals can put out some pretty good sweepers as well. Maybe you can catch one there. You can see the sweeper tentacles. That's a particularly nasty looking one. Now tucked away into the far right hand lower corner is another red morph fungia, and I've had this for a long time. This one's almost 5 years old. And it doesn't like real bright light, so I've tucked it away here a bit. I'm being shielded a little bit by the rocks from the light. It also doesn't like a lot of real heavy current, so it seems to like where it is. It prefers being on the sand. And I feed this maybe once every 2 weeks, although it probably could tolerate being fed more. And it's a very pretty color. Get a close up on the glowing green and red colors. Real pretty. And take a look at that red-lipped blenny again. I don't know where it gets its name from, since it doesn't have red lips. Maybe I've got the wrong species. The only other thing I wanted to show you was a bubble coral that I have on this side of the tank. So we'll move the camera over there. Okay, it's really hard to get a good picture of this bubble coral because it's tucked away sort of in a cove of rocks towards the back of the tank. It's the only place I could find that had low enough water flow to allow it to survive. And it's doing well. It's grown quite a bit. It likes food too. So I feed it once a week. This, it may not be possible to get a real good picture of it. That is a abalone that I got from Flying Fish Express. And see if I can't maneuver the camera a little better, get a little better shot. Let's see here. Okay. I doubt if I'm going to be able to get a real good shot of this animal. Generally, they only come out at night. It's probably just sitting there resting, waiting for nightfall. But that's the animal. Okay, I thought I'd just pull back a bit here and see if I can't center on some of these animals. Try to get some fish. I've got a colored blue who's seeking attention from the cleaner. He's going to catch him. Where is he? There he is. I'm going to come back. That would be a banshee. Red sea purple tang.